So we have been through the Gauss law by the equation E vector dot ds vector or dA vector over the closed surface, which is the flux itself, is equal to 1 upon epsilon times the total charge enclosed in the surface. Now, to understand the concept a little more deeply, let me take an example for that. Suppose in the space, the electric field is given by the equation E vector equals E naught by L x I cap, right? Here E naught is a constant, L is something constant, length which I am going to describe later. X is the x coordinate in this space and I is the x direction itself. Now suppose we are having a cube So this is a cube and we are given the axis as this is x-axis, this is y-axis and this is z-axis, right? And the side of the cube is L itself, right? Which is this quantity L. So in this particular space, the electric field is given by this particular equation and which is varying with the x coordinate like this and pointing in the x direction. Now the question is, what is the total flux crossing through the cube and what is the total charge enclosed inside the cube? The A part of the question is, what is the total flux crossing through the cube? And the B part is, what is the total charge enclosed inside the cube? So we are interested in calculating these two parts for this particular equation for this cube. So let me just do some nomenclature of that. Say this is origin O, right? This is A, this is B, C, O, A, B, C, D, E, F and E. For the first part, what is the total flux crossing through the? We have to calculate the area vector for each surface and electric field for the each surface, right? And also the angle between the area vector for each surface as well as the electric field value for that particular surface, right? So let us start for surface CDEB. CDEB, right? So for CDBE, you can very easily see for this particular surface which is parallel to XZ plane, the area vector like this, right? And this area vector, and if I take the electric field at this particular location, anywhere here, I am just talking about the magnet, about the direction. So the direction of electric field is along x-axis, right? So clearly there is an angle of 90 degree between electric field and the area vector for this particular surface. We can also write area vector as something, say this is A1 of the area and this is in the y direction, which is j cap, right? And electric field for this particular surface at each and every point will be E by L x I cap, x varying from 0 to L, right? For this particular point it is 0, for this particular point it is L. So we can say E equals E naught by L x I cap and A vector equal A1 j cap. These two quantities, when we do the dot product, we will get the flux associated with CDBE. CDBE, and it is E naught by L x I cap dot product with A1 j cap. And we know that I cap dot j cap is 0. So for this particular surface, the flux crossing through the surface is 0. Now, I have written all the things in detail for this particular surface. This particular situation is valid for lower surface OGFA, because for this particular surface, area vector is downwards and the electric field is along x-axis. So there is an angle here. The area vector, say it is something A2, then it will be minus of j cap, and here electric field is like this. So it in the 90 degree. So we can write flux associated with OGFA is also 0. Flux associated with OGFA is also 0. Now, in the same manner, you can easily surfaces CBAO, the flux will be 0. CBAO, the flux will be 0, and parallel to that surface is DEFG. DEFG is also 0. So for the four surfaces, the flux is 0 for the very simple reason the electric field is perpendicular to the area vector itself. Now we are left with two surfaces only. The surface is CDGO and the other surface is BEFA, right? For both the surfaces, the area vector along the x-axis. For EBAF, yeah, or you may say EFAB, the area vector is like this. This is area vector, and area vector will be equal to the area itself, which is L square, which is I cap, and by convention I have taken outwards normal for the surface as the positive direction of area vector. Then what would happen to this surface? Outwards normal be like this, and that will be equal to A equals L square minus of I cap. Now we are left with these two surfaces, and for these two surfaces we can calculate the flux associated with the surface by using phi vector equal E vector dot area vector. So for surface BEFA, flux will be equal to E naught upon L x I cap dot L square I cap. Now, what is the x coordinate of this surface? Clearly, x coordinate for this particular surface is L. In this direction, we have moved from 0 to L. So, I am writing x as L. So, phi will be equal to E naught upon L, L I cap dot L square I cap, right? And then L will get cancelled out. The phi associated with BEFA will be equal to E naught. I cap dot I cap will be equal to 1. So it will be equal to E naught L square. Right? Now for the surface, CDGO, the phi will be equal to E naught by L x I cap dot L square minus I cap. Right? Minus I cap is because the area vector is pointing in negative x direction. So here, what is x coordinate? You can very clearly see that this face is located at the origin itself. So for this particular face, you can very easily say x equals to 0. So when you write x equals to 0 here, phi will be equal to 0 for this particular surface. So out of 6 surfaces, the 5 surfaces have 0 flux associated with themselves. Only the surface BEFA has the flux associated E naught L square, and which must be the answer of the first part. What is the total flux crossing through the cube, right? So total flux crossing through the cube, phi total will be equal to this quantity itself, and it is E naught L square. Correct? So this is the answer of part A. Now let's see, by using Gauss theorem, how will you get the answer of part B. So in the previous part, we have already calculated the flux associated with the whole cube, all 6 parts of the cube, in which we have got the flux 0 for the 5 parts, and for the final part we got it as E naught L square, right? So total flux associated, now we are calculating part B. The total flux associated we have already calculated was equal to E naught L square. Now applying Gauss theorem to calculate the total charge enclosed inside the surface. So what says the Gauss law? Integral, surface integral, E vector dot dA vector equals Q inside upon epsilon naught. Now this is basically the total flux associated with the loop, with the the cube itself, and it was E naught L square. So I am writing it as E naught L square, and it is equal to Q inside upon epsilon naught. So you will get it as Q inside equals E naught L square epsilon naught. So this is the total charge enclosed inside the cube, and it is the answer of the part B. So I hope you have understood the concept of Gauss law and how to deal with the problems related to the Gauss law. So giving you some idea about the flux and how the flux goes negative to a closed surface and flux goes positive to a closed surface, and what is the physical interpretation of that particular part, right? So this was about the question. Now writing the equation of the Gauss law, integration of E dot dA for the closed surface equals Q inside upon epsilon naught, right? Now, left hand side. Taking the left hand side into consideration, it is the dot product of E vector and dA vector. Suppose for a particular closed surface like this, total flux comes out to be positive, right? There are some electric field lines are going in and some electric field lines are coming out of the surface, right? So clearly you can see from this particular figure, only 3 lines are moving inside and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on. Lines are coming outside from the closed surface. So number of field lines coming outside is greater in number than the number of field lines going inside. So obviously the net number of lines will be the positive and the flux associated with this particular situation will be a positive flux, right? So we can say for this closed surface, the flux going out associated with these lines, if I draw the area vector at some particular point, say I am writing area vector here and electric field vector is this angle is acute angle, right? And for the acute angle, the dot product will be positive. And if I write at some particular point here, area vector will be the outwards normal, and it is the outwards normal, and this is area vector and this is electric field vector, and you can clearly see this angle is greater than 90 degree obtuse angle, which will give you the negative flux. So flux associated with these lines will be the positive flux. Flux associated which are going inside is the negative flux. But obviously number of field lines going out are larger in number. So the positive flux will be greater in number and the negative flux will be lesser in number. So the overall flux will be positive. So when overall flux will be positive, this quantity will come out to be as positive. And when you transfer epsilon naught with this positive quantity, the Q inside will come out to be positive, which simply means the charge enclosed inside the surface is positive. And you can very easily understand, suppose there is positive charge inside, right? So suppose 3 field lines going inside the surface. So obviously these 3 will come out, but also the positive charge enclosed inside the surface, this positive charge will also, transmit some lines outward and which will be like this. So obviously the lines coming out will be corresponding to these three as well as the lines which are corresponding to the charge enclosed inside. So obviously when the number of field lines are greater when they are at exit and number of field lines are lesser when they are going inside, the charge associated, charge enclosed inside the surface will be the positive charge, right? And what would if the number of field lines, suppose going inside the surface, suppose are larger in number, while going outside is smaller in number. So going inside is 4, going outside is 3 only. So how will you interpret this situation? So obviously the overall flux associated with this particular surface will be the negative flux. So negative flux means, from this particular equation, negative flux means when transfer epsilon naught, Q inside will be negative. So when Q inside will be negative, that means the charge enclosed is the negative charge. So here it is negative charge. So how will you interpret the situation? The number of field lines going inside the surface, there are larger in numbers, coming outside there are smaller in numbers. So we can say some lines are being consumed inside and the consumption is due to the negative charge, because we already know that the field lines terminates at the negative charge. So larger number of lines are going inside this particular closed surface and some lines are going get terminated in the negative charges and remaining lines are going outside. So obviously the number of field lines going inside the surface will be larger in number than the number of field lines going outside the surface. So by this we can conclude when the total flux is negative, the charge enclosed will be equal to negative charge. When total flux is positive, the charge enclosed the positive charge. So this was all about the elementary idea of this Gauss theorem. I hope you have enjoyed this particular lecture of mine, and for the suggestion and the comments, and if you want some more lecture on any other topic in the physics regarding to the JEE preparation and all, then you can write comments in the comment section, and please subscribe our channel of Kelvin Institute, and thank you very much.